turn the code off and back. It is actually, yes, it is the original. Why is that up? That should not even be on the screen. No, 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 no. That's supposed to be on the screen. This is not. Okay. Yeah, that poster down there. That is in Nintendo Power back in the day when Lost Vikings came out. That was the double-page spread of Lost Vikings in Nintendo Power. So, yep. But that was the original artwork for it. It was printed, so it doesn't have like the crease in the middle or anything like that. That was actually something that Mike Morheim had it in his office and asked me if I wanted it. I went, oh, absolutely, yes. So I've had it ever since. I must go and make dinner, but thank you for the quizness. You're very welcome. New area, Knuckles. I hope you come back. We're here every day, Monday through Friday. And if they can get me to stop playing game, we will get to dad jokes faster. But enjoy dinner. Okay, we have about an hour and 50 minutes to do this. Then I really must run. In fact, I'm going to be late. I have to do all my after show stuff later tonight. So I have to run to an event after this today. I need time to take a shower and stuff. Get dressed. Okay, so let's start up. Let me pull the logos down. Put all of these stuff back up. So we were looking at putting an inventory system in the system. And so I had worked on it a little bit last night. I didn't get a lot of time on it, but I have the basics. What I did was I was trying to fix it in our game, take something that was outside our game and fix it in our game. And I found that that was a huge mistake, and that I had to find a better way to do it. So what I realized was I had to copy all the cameras and stuff in our game and rebuild those cameras in the tutorial, and then start fixing the inventory from there, not the other way around, not just taking the raw inventory and moving it over. There's too many moving parts, and I want to make sure that we get everything working before it gets to us. So let me show you what I have here real quick. Because I copied our, like I said, I copied our window sizes and camera sizes and all that stuff into this and started fixing it, so to speak. So let's see if it pops up on your screen, which it should. Inventory, but it does not. This is the one it should be. Let's go over here and change it to this. So I made a second inventory screen, changed the size of the screen to our size that we used for our game, and then started building the system. Now, a lot of the things do work, but as you can see, the numbers are off, you know, but the sizes of the positioning and the stuff of the things are off. Also, the text isn't coming up at the bottom. Our thing does come up for the explanation, but because it's still set to the old thing, the old size, it's not right, and we can't get out of it without closing. But that's kind of where we're at. So If we come back over here, we're gonna set all the line sizes, and they're actually pretty easy to set. So if we go back here, this is where all of our pieces are. This is where the top part of the pieces and then the bottom pieces are down here. So all we really need to do is correct these numbers here, and it should line things up. So let's look at it again. Blip. Come on. So if you see, like, the top row looks like it's correct. It looks like it's, well, it's a little bit off. Maybe the spacing's one pixel too far. And maybe the size is a little big. What we may want to do is bring the size of the icons down by 2 and then see where it lines up from there. But the first one looks pretty close, but we'll see. So let's go back to this. And the first thing we're going to do is go up here. We're going to change this to, actually, you know what we should do is, let's go to, okay, we want to, what I'm looking for is this here. Let's do this first. Let's go to here, this one. And we have it set for 15, so I think this actually should be 14 for the spacing. And then, or we'll make it 13 just to make sure, because if we can make it dramatic, then we can make sure that we're in the right spot and doing the right thing. And what this should do is correct the spacing between the pieces. The next thing we would do is resize the pieces a little bit, but I want to see if they fit if we just do the spacing right. Waiting for views and blip. Okay. Let's see, so that got a little bit closer, but yeah, our spacing's still pretty off. We went too far the one way, so I think we should have just went to 14 instead of. Actually, if we no, that just go to 14. Put that at 14, and then the rest we would adjust the brains. But sometimes it's just little adjustments here and there that you have to kind of deal with on a day-to-day basis when you're making things. Now, our other pieces are in there, but they're too big. But yeah. But other than these last two, I guess we should have just left it at 15. Leave that at 15. In fact, let's just put it at 16 for now. And then we'll make adjustments to the size that it puts it in. Because right now it's putting it in as 8. Oh, wait a minute. This is the blue box. Look at these ones up here. That would be the blue box. So 70 is correct. 42. I think we'll make that 40. Save, and then these need to be 16. So that would be 40, 56. This would be 70. Everything just basically loses 2. Okay, now we gotta do the same thing down here, don't we? 6. So that probably will make it pretty much close enough. So hopefully that will size everything properly. But sometimes it is just, you know, that you're just pushing little numbers around. Yeah, see, it starts to get off, so our spacing's still wrong. But our level is right. So for the most part, everything's lining up right until we get down here, but we'll fix all that after. But we just need to play with our spacing a little bit. It's a little too much. Still think there's stuff down here because there's other things we're going to need to line up. At 14. Now that those are a different size. Get away from dad jokes and everybody disappears. I know you're out there. I can feel you lurking.
Spadab says, if I show you my screen right now, you'll laugh.
I will not be surprised by that. See, we're pretty close. I think our problem is that our sprites are still a little bit too big. Because we're not getting like the full top and bottom of the sprites. So let's you know, I wouldn't be surprised if I laughed at what's on your screen. Leave this at 14 for now. I'm gonna go in and resize. Yeah, I'm gonna pull these sizes down to see, this is drop a lock item, so the lock item, if we make those 14. Boop, 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 boop. We need to come down to this one down here. There. This one, because those are the top items. So try making them 7 and just see what happens. Worst comes to worst, it'll just look bad. But since these are just the sprite parts of our item. Okay. I like the dad jokes, but I never know the answer. Maybe when I'm a dad, I'll know them. You know, you just have to think when it comes to dad jokes. Dad jokes are more, and we've talked about this before. To me, dad jokes are funnier when they're in the moment, when they are created in the moment that they happen. You know, dad jokes afterwards, yeah, they can be funny, but the best ones are always the ones that happen just in the spur of the moment. Yeah. So, but there is a certain way of thinking about dad jokes. When right now we add rhymes and riddles and stuff in there too, and quiz stuff. But
Spadag says, yes, when you become a dad, all those jokes become apparent to you.
I see what you did there. I'll see what you did. I did. You need one of those slow claps. Yeah, I'll give you the dad joke handbook. If it were only that easy, my friend, if it were only that easy. I think I need to go in and change a sprite real quick. Because I tried to bring in our first piece for piece 1. This is the one we're after. Our first piece for the fountain as a test. And I think I forgot to save it, the one that I was working on. So let's do a quick. Canvas size. Make that 32. Oops. Actually, I think we have a Photoshop here somewhere. Oh, there it is. Okay. So this is one of the pillars for our fountain stuff. So what I want to do is I want to resize the whole thing to 32 by 32. We're just going to do a quick, doesn't look like it'll show that. No, it doesn't. Okay. Make that 32. Okay. And then we go canvas size. 32 by 32. At 3020. 32. Okay, so there's our, make that into our sprite. Save as, nope, not a save as. Okay, well, we'll save it as piece 1. X's, we'll make it a PNG. Not a PNG, a PSD. Then we'll export it as a PNG, so we can use it for our test purposes. Oh, but we need to put a quick background on it. That's what I was coming here to do. We'll just make it a gray. Okay, so that gives it that. Save that as a PNG. We can't do blue. The reason we can't do blue is because it's the same color as the overlay that gets put on those. We'll just do a black, like a darker purple thing. That's good enough. Let's do one more thing simply because I'm a weirdo. A little bit of drop shadow, just to have it. Why didn't it stick?
Andy Nonum says, reminded to drink something. Preferably water, but drink what you wish.
Okay, save that as an export. And we need to put it over here. Assets, new reference, inventory, test. Replace that one.
Neviarnev says, drink a meaty soda.
Okay. So now we should be able to go back into here and replace that sprite, and hopefully it will show up then. Or at least we'll know where it is and why it's not showing up. So let's go up here, down here, where's it at? That is our backgrounds, foregrounds, here it is. Assets, new reference, inventory, test. Open. Okay. So that is correct. Now I need to check on one of our other background sprites, one of these, and see where its center is. Okay, so it's at 8.8. That's probably why our guy is not showing up. What we probably need to do is set his to 8.8. Nope, I think it's going to be 16.16. Yep. All right, so that should fix that. Now we should be able to at least get it in the center of our menu. Sorry, I'm just moving it all around so that we can actually load it up. Okay. Let's see if it shows up. Hey, look at there. We have a piece of it. I guess we just need to change the size to a 16 by 16. I don't know. But it's weird because the rest of these are 32 by 32s. Unless I did something wrong, which is possible. Let's go back to... Yeah, see, so that's a 32 by 32. What size are these? These are 16 by 16s. Okay. That explains, yep. Let's go back to here. Say resize image. It's going to look like hell, but what size? It's 16 by 16. Let's save that to export as. That should fix it over here. Oops. God, I hate this thing sometimes. What's funny is the majority of your game making is going to be doing shit like this. If you're a programmer, it's just figuring out why it works or doesn't work. Okay, so that's an 8x8, blah, blah, blah. You know, and going through the process of, okay, let's fix this. Now let's fix this. Why does that look wrong? You know, etc., etc. That is part of development. It's the part they don't tell you about. Okay. Now we should be able to. Yeah. Close that. You should be able to see it now. Yes, look at that. They're both there. We have successfully put one of our items in the test laboratory. I don't understand why there's two, but that's okay. We still have a spacing problem. So, yeah, I think we're just going to have to make it the size of the thing, which is 16 by 16, and then hope it shows enough of it to where you can see what it is. Then we'll fix these guys down here. Actually, the spacing thing will fix them all once we get the spacing right. But let's take a look. Look at something. This is okay. Let's start out, because we're making a big mess. Change that to 16. The couple things that I don't like about Game Maker Studio is mostly moving things around in the workspace. And I've talked about this before. One of the issues it has, and I'll show you it in a minute here, is, and I've showed it before, is in order to just move around on the board itself, you have to hit space. You have to hold space down in order to click and move something on the board. Let's see, does this fix it? No, that's too big. A little too spaced. And that creates a problem. And the reason it creates a problem is because of this. Say I want to move right to left here. I have to click off the space, then I can hold space down and I can move it wherever I want. However, if I am, say, here, and I just for a brief second forget to click outside of this, when I hold space down, it fills that with things and it screws my code up. So wherever your mouse is, and you can't move anything. So you have to keep that in mind when you're editing in here. And it's kind of a pain in the ass. Because I've put a whole bunch of stuff together at times and then hit spacebar to move something else, didn't realize that I put a bunch of spaces in the code, and then had it crash on me later. So I wish they had a better way of moving things around on the workspace board, like a different key or something else that you could do. Like even if it was just like using the right mouse key to move things around, that would be great. Next, we'll go and resize our information screen. Oh wait, no, we should fix the text first. Make sure that that works. Because if we can put the text down at the bottom for the description, yeah, that should be better. We'll probably maybe need to make it just a little bit, the whole thing a little bit smaller too, but I'm not going to worry about that until we get everything kind of placed in place. For those of you that knew, the reason that I have to actually do the builds is because if I use the preview run button in GameMaker, it crashes OBS. So, oh, see, that didn't turn out too bad. So now it's just up and down, so we have to fix. And do the same correction here that we did to do down here. So, yeah. Oh, that one's a little off. I think these are still a little bit too big. If those were like one pixel smaller. Yeah, they're too wide for the window. This looks about right down here. No, it's not, because the bow is halfway out. Yeah, we need to change the size of those. We also have to fix it to where the text comes up here, which is the description for them. Okay, so boop, boop, boop. It's weird though, because it should only be bringing up. Oh, okay. No, that should not be. Right, let's change this to 48 real quick. That way all the items will load that's there. I think this too is what I need to change, because this is I think the number of that we have. We also have to mark off things that are multiples of. So this should fill our whole space. Yeah, and our numbers are not on the right spots, but cool. I wonder if our sorting system's working. Oh, our sorting system is working. It's not sorting by quest though, because our posts are the only two quest items, and they should move to the front. As far as the size and stuff, the size for the... No, it's not right. Yeah, it's not the spacing that's the problem, it's actually the size of the actual pieces. So that is all correct. This, I believe, is all correct. We could probably take the scale down by another 10%. That might line it up as far as for our artwork. Because I don't know this program, I do have to at times just kind of try something, see if it works. But hopefully my logic centers will hold up enough that we can get through it. Wait for it to come up on your screen. Oh, wow, zombies. Okay. It got a little bit smaller. I think we need to bring it down a little bit more. But I think that the spacing might be right. It's just now. Yeah, okay. Cool, we got these working right. One fix at a time, that's all we ask. So yeah, so either you or if you're making something on your own, like we are doing here, either you or somebody at some point will either do math for this or sit down and do like I'm doing, which is just basically figure it out. Keep playing with the variables until the one it turns out right. Pretty much all you can do. This is the sunny side of development. Yes, sirree. This is what we're doing. Yeah. Now they're too small. But you get the general idea. So 6%, 60% was too much. So 70% is probably where we're going to put it at. And then we'll play with the spacing one more time and see if that locks it. But hopefully we'll be able to get the full sides of everything. So make that 70%. And that hopefully should do the size. And then we'll go in and play with the other numbers. Okay, boop-a-doop-boop. Now it's just we'll fix up and downs, but that actually doesn't look too bad. Just have to fix spacing, not spacing, but the spacing's about. Need to move it over by 2. Yeah, now it's position. Let's go to draw. Alrighty, so backdrop's in the right place. These are what we're playing with next. So we're going to turn this to 68. We're going to do that with all of them. That should line them all up on. Okay, this is we're on the top. That's good. Okay, so that is our Y. So we're moving it over. Or this is our X. So we're moving it over by 2. Now we need to move it up by 2 as well. So we're gonna make this 38, 54. 68. Not that one. So 82. And then 96. 10. 16. Hey there. Any reason you're hard coding the value? It's a repeat. That if it is repeat, yes, because I don't completely realize how to make it a non-hard coded value yet. I will get to that later. The tutorial that I did for this inventory system did not do it as a array. They did it all as a thing. They did it this way, so this is how I'm doing it. Yeah, and since it's something that's always going to be the same once we're done with it, it's never going to move. It's always going to lock down the screen. And it helps me understand the spatial system in our game, because I'm new to Game Maker, and there's different things that I'm finding are, even though they make sense and I can lay them out on a graph and all that to where it would like, oh, this is, I just do it this way and it works. Sometimes it doesn't. So it's kind of like when I'm using OBS, you do have a coordinate system in OBS. However, if you have an object within a folder, the coordinate system for the main page isn't correct to that object in the folder. You have to correct the folder's position in space first, then correct the piece of art or whatever it is in the folder to it has to be relative to the position of the folder in the space of the screen, right? And it looks like this does that too. So this is a good way to just learn, for me rather, maybe not for anybody else, but this is a way for me to learn how that system works, and then later I can figure out what's a better way to do it. Yes, parent-child positioning is a pain in the ass. That's all I can say about that. Yes, I didn't have to deal with it before because Photoshop doesn't do that. There's also other issues with the layering system that I still eludes me. Yes. Yeah, so yeah, we took that one a little bit too high, but we're definitely getting closer on everything. So the top one's just too high, but we're pretty close on the second one. So we went two. We probably only should have went one on the top one, but yeah. And this, I don't know what this is. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll have to look in there and see what is creating 5 items. Let's see. Nothing is creating 5 items, so I'm not sure what that's doing. Bring this to 1. Here's our 13. Yeah, nothing says 5. Come back to here. We need to lower this. No, not that one. This one. We're going to make that 7. Let's go ahead and get the top one right first, and then on to the others. Because once we have the first and second rows done, then we can look at the math and just do the other numbers. One thing for sure, your progress on this is fantastic since last time I stopped in. Oh, okay. Cool. I mean, if we look at the actual game itself, which we're not looking at right now, we're just looking at the inventory, and I'll load the game up here in a second because we just build this real quick. The actual game, I think, is coming along. For as little amount of time that we've actually worked on it, it's actually not too bad. Yeah, that didn't fix it at all, did it? That actually took it higher. I went the wrong way. Cool. All right, we'll fix that. But yeah, I think that the actual game has come a long way. We've got most of the reason we have to do the inventory is because for our quests, for all the things that he has to do, he has to bring multiple things back in some of his quests, and he can't carry one thing at a time back to the quest giver. So we thought, okay, well, We will fix that. I think we need to go the other way on this to make it. Was it 535 maybe? Let's look at number 2 as well. So first and second rows here. So if it's 16, that is 45, 51, 52. One thing at a time would make me very different. Would make it a very different. Yeah. Well, because and that's just it. As I realized when we were putting it all in, that you would have to carry back one piece at a time to your quest givers. And what if the piece that you found for that particular quest was all the way on the other side of the world? Then you'd have to carry it on your head all the way back. And that was just like, no, that's stupid. They just keep getting higher and higher. They're not even, they should be coming down, but they're not coming down. This relative space is, what is this over here? Oh, these are the numbers that we need to fix next. When I think it's going down, it's going up. But it is those two. Let's do this. Close this. Let's take a look. Okay, so the 68's fine because the left to right was in good shape. We took this down. We're going to take this to, we're going to make it 40. We're going to make this 56, or sorry, yeah, 56. So yeah, so now it's just futzing with this to, once I can get this in, then we'll literally have from the code standpoint, we'll have everything in for the demo, which is from level 0 to 1. And then it's just adding the extra stuff, just other things to do. Ah, see, now we're getting somewhere. Yeah, we're still a little bit high. A little bit high on the top one, a little bit low on the bottom one. So this will take one more for the top, add one more to the top, and delete 2 from the bottom. Add one more to the top, delete 2 from the bottom. Yeah, so I just thought it'd be better to have an inventory system. And since I didn't know how to write an inventory system, I went and did a tutorial like I did for everything else. And let's see, we're getting closer now. Cool. Actually, all of them look pretty close. I even kind of like the black border around them. We need to get our descriptions in, which go down here, because I'm pretty sure they're farther down on the screen because of when this used to be massive. I'm thinking of trying freelance work specifically for game development jobs, but I don't know if in what cases someone might want to hire a freelancer when making a game. So I was wondering if you could offer some insight on that. Okay, well, number one, you're a programmer. Okay, so yeah, just reach out and say that you're available. In all honesty, you know, send as many of your get a bunch of your stuff together and send it out. You can also look for reputable companies that are actually looking for freelancers, because a lot of them do use them. You know, but have some code and stuff like that you can show them. You know, because as a programmer, you can make bank in games. But yeah, I think Sparta is correct. Is that there is a certain thing about, you know, hire an artist for a piece of work and then get it and send him on his way. You know. Well, you just add that in as when you put your resume together, because you should write a resume anyway for freelance work, or a job description and stuff like that. What you do, and put on there extras, uh, some 3D modeling type thing, stuff like that. I would put that kind of in it, as opposed to say I'm a 3D modeler too. What's funny is the spacing looks correct now. We'll just leave it like that for now, because all those are going to be replaced anyway. All those icons, and we're probably going to need to make some adjustments on it. Let's take a look at what happened to our actual text. See, these are our mouse. Check if the mouse is hovering. That's working, because that's our blue box. Check on an item. Is it in the image? Okay, we're not worried about that right now. Locked item. We have to get all this stuff up to where it's supposed to be. I think all of that would work once we get it up there. Locked item, check for additional rows. That's, oh, we have to fix this. Let's see. Yeah. We have to, so all these numbers kind of work. So I'm not too worried about that, but we do need to move those down there. And what we can do, we can just do a cut and paste, but no, we can. That's our background here, our backdrop. Sprite to reveal. This is our font. Text is right. Draw text at, let me see. Now this is where we get into the relative space thing. Our mouse rollover is working. Draw item info, this is what we're looking for. So, my item, dragging item, we're not doing a drag, current item, is showing info true. Okay. Showing description, this is what we're looking for. So, go back to variables, I think it's up here. Showing description is false, but it changes to true when we do that. So let's do we're going to do a search here for every place that showing description is, and then we can look at where the location is for it. Okay. That's the one. This one. All right, so this is where it's putting it. SQ, description, and shadow. X, Y, X. Yeah, this is where we're getting the problem with this thing. Where is it? All we want is the little one on the bottom. We don't want like a full description that's on top. It is part of rollover though. Oh, bum, 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 bum. Sorting, we got the sorting pretty much good, except for it's not sorting for, yeah, we didn't put that in, so we'll put that in real quick. Go sort for type. We want the type to be quest. Okay, so that will sort for type. What is in our object? What is the name of? Oh no, we're looking at, we need to look at the objects, not at. Okay. Okay, so here's the description. That's the description that goes on the bottom. The description is what we're looking for. This is what we're gonna, this is what, I want to see where we're displaying this from. Okay, that's that one. We don't want that one. Line 6. Oh. Okay, this is, it's giving us all of them. 9, yeah. Okay, this is what we're looking for. Oh no, that's just the description. Item locked, false. Not seeing chords. If this is the chords, then we're in trouble. No, it shouldn't, because that should still work, because everything else worked in that. Let's see, exit. Description, add items to GS. Oh, that's just putting it all in there. Please create. It's all set relative to the thing, but locked items, we have those on the table. Let's hide those. It draws right, and then this is just the sort. So let's see if the sort broke everything. It probably did.
Spadog says 20-minute warning. Raid time approaching.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I didn't sort the... It's not sorting by our quest, but I don't think I put quest in the type, and that's probably why, even though it is in the bottom. quest is there. It is there. It's in the sort type. Interesting. Oh, because we do have this in 2 places, so that's another thing I found out is there's the add to master list, and then there's add item to items, and it's in 2 different places, so that was interesting. But I'm not seeing 5 in here on anything either. But oh wait, here, got that 5, 20, 50, 50, 50. Huh. I think I may be changing the wrong number. I think this is the one. Which means in our build, back up here. No, that's that way. Sort type name. It should be in here. Here's the sort type. We did put quest on our foundries. So we did spell it right. No, we did spell it right. Ah. No, yeah, that's right. I don't have to worry about ailments because that's something else. Weapons, armor, quest, consumable. Do I need this on there? I think that might be what happened. Because of the way he wrote the code, I think that needs to be there. In order for it to... No, because it's not here. Well, worst comes to worst, it'll crash it, right? Oh well. I'm gonna have a lot of stuff to fix this weekend. So let's hit sort. It should say down here what we're sorting by, but it's not. No, it doesn't. It's still not sorting quest. I still don't know what this is over here. I think our foreground is a little bit off. It's not squared up. Also, a tip I have for adding comments when you're commenting on code, you have out of space, and then it's leaving actual comments. Notes in space. Notes. Yeah. You know, you mean leaving comments for why it was changed and all that. I think that's one of the things why, for me, yeah, this is over 1 pixel too much. Why, for me, it's I only work on one thing at a time because I don't have enough understanding to work on the whole scope at the same time. So I center myself on something very simple, for lack of a better way to put it, and then go from there. Because I do lose track of things at times. Okay, so here's our text box. I believe this is the one is showing info. Yes, this is the one that we're looking When displaying description sprite. Okay, this is the big one. This is not the one that's at the bottom of our page. Cover orange. Filter true is in menu. True. Draw color orange. We need to bring this up. Is worth. Okay. This is what I was looking for. Let's see what happens if we bring this. Actually, let's just bring it up. And make this 100, just to make it obnoxiously in the face of where we are. And choke to death. Yes, that is the best way to end a time. Is just to choke to death. Okay. I just want to see if that brought our descriptions up on the screen. Yes, it did. Look at that. Fountain piece. Yeah, because that's supposed to go here. And that's what we wanted. It also means that if I hit S, I think if I move this off here. Okay, well I just need to find that piece of text and put it up here. We also need to change the size of the font. But that's good. So if that's 100, we need to make it like 120. We put it down here. And we need to make the font quite a bit smaller. Did I just close? No, I didn't. Good. I did minimize it somehow. So that one uses my smaller font. Let's go to fonts. Smaller. We'll make it 8. We'll make it 7. Get real tiny. And then we're going to move it down to 120. Actually, no. I think we just need to change this. Let's put that back at 10. Close that. And then just make this make it 0.8 for now. Okay. Because if we change that font, it's going to change it everywhere, and that's going to be a big, huge pain in the ass, because then everything's going to look broken. So we just keep the font separate. Whoa! What's the matter, Mickey? I didn't make it smaller. Oh, well. Cool. That's funny, because I could have swore I would have made it smaller, but it didn't seem to. Right, with minus 20, blah, blah. Let's see, this is 55 is fine for that. Go 60, because it didn't seem to move that much. Wait a minute. Okay. The next zombie attack should be the last one. We'll exit this after the next zombie attack, which will put us right about on time, which is good. So I know I get lost in time when we're working on stuff. Okay, so we just need to raise it a little bit. But the font ain't getting no smaller. Dang it. So, smaller font times get font size. Font size is 10. So, that is too big. We'll make it 50% just for fun. Sprite width, okay. Make this 50, not 1500. So yeah, so now it's just because we've changed the size of the screen to our game screen, we'll keep adjusting the inventory until it fits our screen. Then doing it here is a lot less expensive than doing it in our game. That's why I'm doing it this way. Is I can make all the mistakes here, and then hopefully we'll still need some adjustments because nothing ever goes one-to-one anywhere. So let's see what that brought us. It actually got bigger. That's another thing I've noticed about this, is things are opposite of what I'm used to. Sometimes if you raise a number, things get smaller. Sometimes if you lower a number, things get bigger, like this font. So it cracks me up. So we're going to go back to 1.2 or 1.5, whatever it was. And that's all we're going to change. We're going to change that to 1.5. And I have a very distinct feeling it's going to get smaller. So what we're going to do is, just for giggles, we're going to make it 2.5. The sad part is I'm not going to be able to work on this after the show today because I have some obligations I have to go meet. But this is why you have people that specially program specific things, like, oh, I program menus, okay, and then they go and program menus, and it's all great. I am not a programmer. I'm an artist who's done some programming, but see, now it's massive. And what that is that looks like the kerning. It doesn't actually look like it's changing the size of the font. So yeah, we have to find where. Technically, yes, we can change the size of the font in the font, but that is not going to be a good thing. That looks like it's the height, line height. So sprite font equals -20. I get with, okay. This menu and small font. Let's go back to our font. Okay, let's make it 6, just to be a pain. You can always change it back to 10. But I thought there was a smarter way to do it. Obviously I'm wrong, I may need to look up what code will do this, but right now we just need to get it all on the screen, right? UIs and GUIs can be fun, but they can also be a pain in the ass. Well, we got it. It's on the screen, but it's ugly as hell. Yeah, that's going to be a problem. So 6 is the what it's asking for. Yeah. So we just need to find a font that looks decent at 6. Let's just go to old-fashioned Arial. See what it does. No, we do not want anti-aliasing on. We'll turn it off for now. Like I've always said, is you should absolutely have a specialty for what you do, but you should also know as much as you can about the jobs around you, like people that have to do your stuff. Okay, yeah, that looks like hell. But it's in the right place. And right now, I think we're just the only thing that's important is get things in the right place. Woohoo. Because we should worry about making it pretty when we're in our game, not so much here. I have noticed that it is moving things up here, which I find fascinating.
Spadab says, raid time. 5-minute warning.
Thank you. Cool. So yeah, there is another piece that we have to look for, which is where does it write? It would be smaller font as well, so let's do a search for smaller font. And what I'm looking for is the one for the actual quests. Okay, that's just the amount. Smaller font, okay. Sort by, this is the one. So we need to bring this up to that number, which was 140, I think. What this will do is it will tell us what it's sorting by. And that'll be the last thing we do today. Okay, let's see if our sorting works. In the beginning, you don't know how. Aha! So right now it's sorted by name, by amount, by type, by price, by type, by name. Yeah, it's not sorting quests, so that's something we'll need to fix eventually too. But not today, because Sparta is keeping me on track. Thank you, because I'm under a bind here to be somewhere. So by type, by price, by type. It doesn't do them. It appears to do them in random order, which I find fascinating. But we have them on screen, so. Is it in? It's up here, not down here. Yes. So it seems to do all of them but the one we put in, because it does the name, it does amount, it does type, it does quest, it does height. Now height it doesn't need. Maybe that's what the problem is. I think I added that. Or did I add it up here? One of them needs height. I forget which one. But item height. So item needs height. Object price. And then type. Here's our types. Yeah, I should pick it up. Here's our sort types. The quest is in our sort types. Yeah. That is what we will probably try to figure out tomorrow. Let's do a save. I'm going to close that out. Yeah, we did the save, so we're all good. We're going to put our logos back up. And then we have 30 seconds before the zombie. 37, 38 seconds, and then the buffer time, which is sometimes up to 30 seconds. And yeah, in the beginning, you don't know what you don't know. So, and it becomes very frustrating. But then when you know what you know, then it gets easier. My mindset is, fuck it, we fall. There we go. I'm trying to catch up. Ask for advice. I thought you meant fuck it all. And iterate based on that experience. Yeah, pretty much. But sometimes it's literally just, okay, put that in. Okay, did it work? Nope. Okay, next thing. But we got the words up on the screen. We need to find a font that works with it. You know, once we put it in our game, maybe our game font will be fine. So, but sometimes hunting, pecking on stuff is what you do. I also need to update the credits because I have to add the tutorial I did for the inventory to the credits. But the good part about this, if there is a good part, and I think that this actually is a good part about this, is all the hunting and pecking around and looking at the code gives me a better understanding of what is going on in the code and where those pieces are. So it's getting easier for me to find things. You think I changed the scene accidentally in OBS? What do you mean? Let's go back and look. No, I didn't change the scene. We're still in game dev. We're just in the basic part. We're in the design room. We're still there. I just waiting for the zombies to pass. That is what I'm doing. That is the exit scene for game dev. We should be all good. So once 25 seconds, then
Spadab
once that's
says
done.
raid time.
Yes, it is, and that's where we're going. But I can't change the scene yet. We will. Tomorrow's the 23rd, right? Yeah, 23. So we can put that up so we can show that. And then we should be all set to go and see who is online. Okay, let us go over here. We need to put our message up or here and then say goodbye to game dev. Go to the